It's time to go to work. Jerk of All Trades podcast. I am here with Ray the Jerk as always.
As always, yes.
The Jerk of All Trades podcast is here live with our friend Elias, the host of the Mancave Chronicles podcast. What is up, Elias?
Welcome.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Glad to have you.
Absolutely. Tell us about your podcast, man. You're the host of the Mancave Chronicles?
I am. I'm the host of the Mancave Chronicles. It's been, what am I on, 16 episodes now?
Nice.
Trying to, crank an episode every week.
I definitely can feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to do at least one a week over here as well.
Yeah. So what led you to want to start doing a podcast besides the fact that everyone is actually required by law to have a podcast now?
Right. Well, it's a good story. I've been a listener of podcasts for a few years now, between Joe Rogan and Jay Moore.
Oh yeah.
A couple of wrestling ones like Chris Jericho, Stone Cold.
Yeah. Even
Ric Flair's for I don't know how many episodes he pushed out, 10, 15 episodes.
Wow, I did not know Ric Flair had a podcast.
He did have a podcast for a while. Actually, he had two different podcasts. He had one with I forgot who he did it with. And then he did another one by himself too. And then after like 5 months, it just stopped.
Interesting.
So, but Jay Moore was like my favorite one, and every year I kept saying, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. Finally, a couple months ago, I started to realize that I'm about to be 40 years old, and I said, I'm going to do it because I don't want to be 80 and start regretting things in life.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
Sure.
most people get sports cars now in this millennium. We start podcasts, so.
Correct. So I told my wife, I have a career and everything, but I want to start a podcast. And then eventually my next goal is, as long as, I have, like I said, I have a little girl and I have a boy coming in about 10, 12 weeks. Hope he comes out healthy and everything. And my next goal after that is to try stand-up comedy.
Awesome, man. That is very, very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I definitely dig that.
Yeah, so were you interested? So like for me, the way that I got into this and the reason that I wanted to do this. So there was a lot of podcasts I listened to. Joe Rogan, obviously, been a big fan for a long time. But growing up, I was really into talk radio. I grew up. I live in between Chicago and Milwaukee, so I was into Mancave was like really my big thing growing up. And I wanted to go into like radio, and then I started to go to school for it, and then I realized that not a lot of money in that, and so now that podcasting is so accessible, that's kind of how I got into it. So were you into like radio, like Howard Stern, Mancave, Rush Limbaugh, whoever, back in the day or anything, or just the podcasting?
Not into politics, but I used to listen to like when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of sports, and I would turn on my alarm radio because back then we didn't have MP3 players and stuff like that to wake us up in the morning. So I would play the Red Sox games, and I did want to go to school for communications, but I grew up from what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, my father was old school. He's from Europe and stuff like that, old school, and he didn't see that I would have a future in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wanted me to go to school to be an accountant or a teacher or I don't know what else, but my passion was actually into TV and radio.
Yeah, parents usually don't want their children going into entertainment industries.
Right, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's definitely
correct.
You got to chase your dreams, man. You got to go after it.
So I went to college for criminal justice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it didn't work out the way I wanted to. I scored high in the police test and state trooper tests.
Sure.
So then it was just after I graduated from college, I was just working regular jobs, and I went back to school for computers, and now I do IT. And I'm an application analyst.
It's a good field to be in, man. Absolutely. But it's cool. You're still chasing your dream. You're still trying to do something that, you want to do and that you wanted to do. So that's definitely what we're doing here.
Yeah, at 40 years old, it's pretty much now or never. It's pretty
Correct.
much like it's either now I'm going to do this now or it's not.
Don't give
gonna
him a
happen.
complex, man. Come
No,
on.
well, I'm patting him on the back. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you stood up and you manned up and you, like you said, you're
Yeah.
doing it all by yourself.
Absolutely.
And
I'm still having a hard time that I turned 40, but you know, my wife says like you don't look 40. And actually, a couple days ago, I told somebody that I was 40, and they looked at me like I was lying to them.
hey, there
They
you
thought
There
I
you
was-
go, man.
So you know, that's a good thing, you know.
you got that baby face.
Yeah, there you go.
Correct. Exactly.
So
Yeah,
you interview a lot of people on your podcast. My question is, if you could interview one person, who would it be for the Mancave Chronicles?
I don't know. I mean, like my target, you know, like I said, I have my whole motto is everyone has a story to tell. So you know, I've had different type of guests on. You know, I've had stand-up comedians, I've had entrepreneurs, I've had web series creators, but you know, like you're not gonna get a super famous person on it. I mean, unless you're like Adam Carolla, you know, or you know, Joe Rogan or something like that. But like I said, I would love to get like somebody like Jay Moore on there because you know I looked up to him with his podcast every week, and I was looking forward to listening to it. Even now, I still listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll mow my lawn and I'm listening to podcasts. I go to the gym, I'm listening to podcasts.
Driving in the car, listen to the
Driving in
podcast.
I don't have a long drive to work, so my drive is only 5 minutes. So, but if I'm sitting on my desk and I know I don't have to go anywhere for a few hours, you know, I'll put my headphones on and I do my thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But, you know, there's a lot of people that I would like to get on. I would love to get, you know, even for wrestlers, I would love to get somebody like Chris Jericho on, or, you know, like I mean, I don't, you know, obviously Ric Flair would be great, but you know his situation right now.
Yeah,
He's one of our dream guests. My
No
dream
doubt, man.
guest would probably be Vince McMahon.
Wow, Vince McMahon.
I have a lot of questions for that guy.
I would guess that would be a pretty far-fetched one. I don't think he's ever done a podcast before, but
That's what I was going to say. I don't think I've ever even heard him on a podcast before.
no.
If I can't get Vince, I want Shane or Stephanie.
Yeah, I think you know we're big believers here at, you know, if you put yourself into something and you put it out into the world and you really truly believe in it, that you can make it happen. So you know what, you keep rocking it and you keep doing it, and man, before you know it, you're gonna have, you know, your dream guest on your podcast. So yeah, we're definitely sending positive vibes to you to make that happen.
And that dream guest will be Eddie the Jerk. You're welcome.
And you know what's the word? It's like the funny thing is like, what do we have to lose by doing podcasts? Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
We're having fun doing it. You guys are having fun doing your podcast.
Absolutely, man.
I'm the same way. I mean, there's days where I'm like, oh, I got to record tonight, but after I'm done recording, I'm like all hyped up. You know, like can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I completely agree. You know, I work 2 jobs, do the podcast. It's a lot of work to do it. You got to do social media, you got to record, you got to do everything. And so, yeah, it's definitely it's fun, but I like it. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Cool, man. Well, you know, I can tell by your logo that you're a giant sports fan. SummerSlam is coming up. Are you a big fan of the WWE as well?
I am, but I'm not into it like I used to be. I was more of, you know, I grew up watching people like, you know, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Hogan, you know, Stone Cold. After that whole Attitude Era ended, it kind of like threw me, you know, I'll still pay attention here and there, but it was kind of like, if I miss it, it doesn't bother me, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
Man, at 40 years old, you got to rank higher than me on the pro wrestling old school ladder there. So it'll be interesting to test my knowledge against a guy that's probably watched more 80s wrestling than I have.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So, like, you know, why don't you tell us about, you know, some of your favorite wrestlers growing up, some of your favorite angles,
Yeah, like
you know,
how
what
old
your
were
era,
you? How
all
old
that
were you
jazz.
when you started watching wrestling?
I think I really got into wrestling probably by like WrestleMania 4 with a big tournament there. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, Front Plaza.
Probably around there. But you know, I've gone back where I've watched older wrestling, but you know, like my favorite, like if you told me right now, pick a favorite wrestler of all time, I probably can't pick one because I think I've changed my answer every few years. You know,
sure. It's hard to
Absolutely,
do.
it's hard. You know, like I said, Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair goes down as the greatest one of all time.
Sure.
There's definitely no denying that Ric Flair is in the conversation and quite possibly the greatest wrestler of all time. So
yeah, but like you know who never got a lot of love for and not having the heavyweight titles, Roddy Piper.
Dude, Roddy Piper, man,
He
one of
was
the best
close.
promo guys of all time,
He was
without a
close.
doubt, man, without a doubt. Never a world title for Roddy Piper, man. I'm a huge movie fan as well. They Live is one of my favorite movies of all time. So, an unheralded actor as well. So, yeah, Roddy Piper, man, rest in peace. What an awesome wrestler. What an awesome
then
promo guy.
then you got other wrestlers, like Kurt Hennig.
Oh, Mr.
Dude,
Perfect.
Mr. Perfect, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Love Mr. Perfect. Awesome in-ring work.
I'll never forget that SummerSlam match against Bret Hart.
Oh, dude, what
91.
a match, man. What a match,
great
man.
match. Madison Square Garden.
Dude, that sharpshooter that he put on him, like, just looked, oh my God, dude. It looked like he broke his back. So.
Yeah, I grew up a huge Hulkamaniac, so I'm not too big into your Roddy Piper there, buddy.
I'm a Hogan fan too, but it's
okay. You're older because I was a little kid and you're
NWO Hogan was great.
NWO Hogan was cool as fuck.
Dude,
yeah.
Hollywood Hogan is the shit, no doubt.
A lot of promos on Nitro and not so much wrestling, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take it.
You know what? Yeah. We definitely enjoy going back and watching old Nitros. Definitely enjoy going back and watching Scott Steiner promos from the NWO era. That's one of our favorite pastimes.
Oh, yeah. The one that he juiced up, right?
Put a promo in a hat and pull it out.
Yeah,
it's probably all juiced up for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll never forget the Hogan turn when he turned to join the NWO.
Man,
that was pretty big.
I went to a few of Nitros and a few of the pay-per-views down in Baltimore. Back when I was younger, we had a connection from WCW, and we stayed at the same hotel with a couple of the wrestlers, like where the wrestlers stayed at. And there was a couple of wrestlers where we would go to the bar after the show, and you saw some funny things there, and some like Scott Steiner was never a friendly guy. I'll tell you that.
I'm shocked to hear the revelation.
I remember somebody going up to him while he was trying to get in the elevator to ask for a picture, and he punched the hell out of that elevator.
Oh man, you don't say. Scott Steiner.
That is so funny, man. That's so funny. I never had the privilege of going to any WCW events. I went to a lot of WWF events. I was always a WWF guy, but I loved WCW during that era. I never got to see WCW during that era, and I regret that. So that's pretty cool, and that's cool that you got to see them
Could you imagine
behind the scenes?
Could you imagine trying to Snapchat with Scott Steiner?
Oh my!
You see Scott Steiner in a hotel, you're like, "Hey, Scott Steiner,
exactly.
Let me get a Snapchat." He just wants to rip your fucking head off.
Oh man!
And then of course I seen Ric Flair doing shots at the bar with Arn Anderson and wooing all night, which nice. I thought that was great.
Was that at the same event?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was a great.
That is awesome, man.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that was. Like I said, it was during one of our spring breaks that we went there. It was for actually I don't even know if it was. I don't think it was spring. Was it spring stamp? I don't know. I forget what pay-per-view it was. It was in the spring or so. Oh, it was the Great American Bash back in WCW. That's what it was.
Was this Nitro years or was this
Yeah. It was during the Nitro years. And yeah, I mean, at my parents' house still, I have a photo album full of pictures of the wrestlers that I met during those 2 days that I was there.
That is awesome, man. I have to say I'm not shocked either to hear Arn Anderson doing shots. I think back to the NWO parody of the Four Horsemen where Kevin Nash was Arn Anderson and he had the red nose and such, and he had the cooler full of beer. So yeah, definitely.
Well, Arn Anderson is a funny story about Arn Anderson. I was at we went to a Monday night. Was it Monday Night Raw or was it Nitro at the Hartford Civic? It was Remember the Ultimate Warrior when he showed up at the Hartford Civic Center?
Okay, yeah, I think that was Nitro. Yeah,
that was Nitro. That was Nitro. Yeah, and we stayed at the hotel across the street from that event because it's only about 45 minutes from where I live, and so we went. We saw a couple of the Nitro girls. We got our pictures taken with them and everything, and we started walking down this dark alley, and all of a sudden Arn Anderson is walking by himself in this dark alley with a beer, drinking it right in the middle of the street in a paper bag and just chucking him down, walking back to his hotel.
Oh, it might not have been a beer though, right? It might have been, like a Gatorade.
I think it was beer cans. I think it was one of those tall beer cans.
Are you sure it wasn't a protein shake?
He was the original Stone Cold, from what I saw.
I miss the old school wrestlers.
You know what? Yeah, it's definitely a lot different now. I feel like it was a lot more fun back in the day. I watched a lot of shoot interviews with wrestlers and stuff where they talk about how it was back in the day, and I feel like because of social media and stuff now, everyone's got to be on their best behavior.
Everybody's got a cell phone.
How many dick pics existed back in the day of
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Ric Flair in the 80s would have been all over Twitter, all over Instagram, just randomly popping up on people's Instagrams like drinking
Yeah.
at hotels.
There would have been so many sex tapes of wrestlers back in the day. It wouldn't have even been funny. So it might have been sort of funny, but yeah.
Any other good stories there, Mancave, Elias, from meeting wrestlers?
I think that's pretty much it. After that, like I said, the whole Attitude Era took over, and then after that, I grew up a little bit more, so I kind of stopped watching it.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favorite era of watching wrestling?
Oh, it's definitely the Attitude with the Nitro era
Okay.
during the war.
Man,
It was really good back then, yeah, the late 90s.
what a good era, man. I have some people that I know at work, some younger dudes who are really into wrestling, and so myself and Eddie, I've kind of like come back in and watched a bit, and then kind of fall out again. I'm in a down period right now, but so I still kind of know what's going on. But anyway, I got some younger dudes. I think he's like 19, 20, and they talk about how the Attitude Era was overrated and how the era now is so much better. And I just think you have no idea, man. You have no idea.
Maybe the in-ring work was a little down, but the crowd reaction
I will trade that all day.
can't be beat.
I'll trade that all day long. I will get just hype crowds, man.
If you take 10 wrestlers between WCW and the Attitude Era WWE to go up against 10 wrestlers of now, I think the old school wrestlers would destroy them.
Absolutely, man. One of the big things I think is just like now it's hard to define the characters and who these people are now. And it's like back in the day, it was like you knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was. You knew who The Rock was. You knew who Triple H was. You knew who Hollywood Hogan was.
Godfather.
Right. Like,
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
not the best example. I mean, you did know who he was, but yeah.
Him
Well,
and them hoes.
They had very defined characters, and now it's like really hard to figure out who these people are and what their
Yeah.
motives are. And I think that's the big thing with wrestling at its best is like you have good guy, you have bad guy, and you have like people cheering for the good guy and rooting against the bad guy. And I
Well,
don't
now
Don't
it's
forget, don't forget some of those wrestlers back then when they did their promos, they were really into it.
And they had freedom to be able to say what they wanted to
Exactly.
say, rather than now where it's like so strict and streamlined and like it's like they try to make it like a regular television show and it's word for word for word. We were watching SmackDown
Well, yeah.
earlier, and what was it? AJ Styles and Shane McMahon were in the ring, and Kevin Owens' music was supposed to start playing, and it didn't start playing.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
Shane McMahon just sat there sweating profusely as he waited and looked backwards to hope that the music would start playing. And
He was
so,
hoping AJ Styles would bail him out.
Yeah.
Somebody, the sound guy.
And now they have to watch what they say because when they say the wrong thing, some snowflake from Colorado is going to get offended.
right.
Oh, sure.
Or so that's like now you have to watch what you say too.
It's really silly. It reminds me of I don't know if you remember Conan from Nitro years, WCW.
Yeah.
He said like back in the day that I think like 2 or 3 years ago, he was watching Raw and he just couldn't get into it because everybody looked the same. Everybody
Yeah.
had a tan. Everybody had 6-pack abs. Everybody was like younger looking. It's like nobody stood out. It was just all
Yeah.
these guys just looked the same for 2 hours. So old school guys, like Ray was saying, you can pick them apart a little
Very
bit better.
differentiated.
Yeah,
Now it's
sure.
very
Exactly.
streamlined and very samey. So it's all about the in-ring work. And yeah, I like in-ring work, but I like it better when there's a story behind it. I don't watch a movie just to see things explode. I watch a movie because there's a good story behind it as well. And then when things explode, it has some sort of impact. So
Correct.
yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about our first story. Ric Flair, man. Ric Flair induced into a medical coma, got some health issues going on. So Eddie, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we love you, Nate.
Yes.
We know you're gonna kick out of this shit.
Yeah. Kick out at 2, man.
If the airplane crash couldn't take you down, this little medical thing should be fine. So waiting on you to come back, Nate, and we're pulling for you. So
Yeah,
Come-
definitely.
come out strong.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what's happening with him yet. At first, they thought it might be heart-related issues, and then there was some stuff that came out about it might be something related with his colon. But now there's kind of conflicting reports as to what exactly is happening. But he was induced into a medical coma, had whatever surgery he had, and now he is recuperating.
He's getting up there, man. 68 years old.
Yeah, 68 years
Yeah.
old. I'm sure he didn't take the best care of himself. I mean, as Elias said, I mean, he saw him taking shots with Arn. He was hanging out with Arn in the reg, so I'm sure that Arn and him were.
That was going down about 310 days a year.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if you guys read there was an article the other day about what's his name, X-Pac Six Pack, whatever his name is now. I don't know I always forget what his name is.
Yeah, X-Pac, yeah.
He's pretty much said, like Ric Flair still thinks he's 20 years old. And he keeps partying like a 20-year-old, and I guess, when you're doing stuff like that at 68 years old, it's going to catch up to you sooner or later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they had that 30 for 30 on him on ESPN, and yeah.
Oh, has that been on yet?
I think that was on already. Yeah,
I missed it.
I thought it wasn't. I thought it didn't air yet.
Oh, did that not air? I thought it did.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, listeners, please tell me that I'm wrong.
One lash with a wet noodle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe yeah. Woo! Oh, sorry. I thought you hit me with the wet noodle on the chest there. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely the reports have come out that Flair definitely was a little questionable with his money over the years and using it to party and such. So he's definitely led a full life. So, but he definitely deserves to kick out of this and continue on and live longer. So we love you, Nate. So the greatest of all time. So probably without a doubt. So cool. So yeah, let's talk about SummerSlam. We're gonna do some SummerSlam predictions. So as I said, I'm not regularly watching. I did watch Raw and SmackDown. Eddie, you watched Raw, correct?
I saw SmackDown today.
And he saw SmackDown. Elias, you said you watched Monday Night Raw, but you did not see, or you saw the end of it, but you did not see SmackDown. So we're gonna do some predictions here. I will say that every year, myself, Eddie, and our friends get together. We watch WrestleMania. And there's been many a year where we're not watching at all. And usually the person that isn't watching is normally the winner of the predictions. So I believe Eddie actually won this year. I lost.
I'm currently doing the Rob Van Dam thumbs.
That's another one of our dream guests.
Watching. Were you a big fan of ECW, Mancave?
I watched some of it. I've seen some of it on the network
come on,
there.
Man, you're out in Boston. You have to know about that ECW.
Boston.
Yeah, because it was mostly based out of what, Philadelphia, right?
Yeah,
Philly, East Coast. Yeah,
I remember watching that one match with Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz when Bam Bam body slammed Taz through the ring.
Oh
yes, man, I remember
that was
too.
huge. Yeah, we are huge ECW fans. That was definitely our promotion of choice. So, we definitely want to get RVD on the show. So, but
that'd be a good guest.
Yeah, he'd be an awesome guest. But yeah, so let's do SummerSlam predictions. I'll read the matches off. If you don't know, doesn't matter. Guess anyway. So yeah, we'll run through these. So here is the SummerSlam card. So we've got the Demon Finn Balor is facing off against Bray Wyatt. Eddie, what is your prediction?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with SummerSlam. I'm gonna go babyface here. I'm gonna go Finn Balor. Is he the babyface?
Finn Balor is the babyface.
Okay, I'm definitely going Finn Balor over Bray Wyatt. Clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle.
So yeah, I think that's a good choice. This Monday on Raw, Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt faced each other. There was like a thing where they basically they couldn't wait until Sunday and they had to fight each other right away. And so they fought each other and Bray Wyatt cheated to win. And after the match, the lights went out and his little thing came on the screen. And then he took out a slop bucket. Did you see this, Eddie, or no?
I saw the end of it.
Okay.
I saw the end of it when he got poured on.
Yeah, I was thinking Henry O'Godwin. He took out a slop bucket and he brooded him and poured fake blood onto Finn Balor. And so Finn Balor went backstage and talked to Kurt Angle, and so kind of hinted that his demon was going to be joining him at SummerSlam. So I think there's no way around it. Finn Balor is definitely winning this match.
Who do you got, Mancave?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Finn Balor too.
Yeah,
cool.
On that one.
Yeah, pretty simple, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt had his little run. Finn Balor got hurt. Was he out for like a year?
Yeah, he was out for pretty close to a year, man. He won the Universal title, and then he got hurt in that match, and then he had to relinquish the title. So I think that this has got to be the come up. Bray Wyatt is a straight up jobber. So for the most,
I'm not crazy about him. I don't know what I mean. I think it was that whole ring entrance thing that everybody liked.
Yeah, you know what? I was watching him in NXT, and I really thought the character was really cool. I've always kind of lean towards those type of characters. And then once he actually brought up to the main roster, it's like he didn't do anything. His in-ring work is relatively weak. His promos are like really meandering. Like I can't understand. Like he's talking about things for 5 minutes, and I have no goddamn clue what the hell he's talking about. So yeah, he doesn't really say a whole lot of things of substance. So yeah, I want to like him, but I don't really like him all that much. So, but yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think we all agree here. Finn Balor for the win.
Unanimous.
So, yes. Next matchup, we got the it's the Big Show versus Mr. Big Cass, and Enzo Amore is suspended above the ring in a shark cage. They missed
shark cage.
They missed the universal call out with the Sharks from a few weeks back. So, yeah, Big Show versus Big Cass. Eddie, who you got on this one?
I'm going with, well, it doesn't make sense for Enzo to be in the shark cage unless he gets brought down at some point, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't completely understand that. So I'm going Big Show here on just a wild guess. But I think Big Show gets the knockout or choke slam or leg drop or whatever he's going to do here.
Yeah.
And Big Cass is going down.
So, yeah, this is a tough one, too. These are actually tough for me, too, because I don't know the backstory of these,
Well,
Enzo, in the
Enzo
past few
and
weeks.
Big Cass split up.
Right, yeah. So I knew that whole side of things, but I don't know how the Big Show got involved with this. But I think, once again, that why have the Big Show beat Big Cass in this match? Like, it doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense to have Big Cass do the job here. I think you can still accomplish what you want to accomplish and have Big Cass still win this match. So, obviously, Enzo's getting out of the shark cage at some point, but I think the Big Cass still wins this match. But in the end, somehow the Big Show and Enzo, end up, looking good in the end of this. So, but I still go with Big Cass for the actual pinfall victory. Elias, what do you think on this?
I'm actually going to agree with you. I think Big Cass is going to win.
No.
Yep. Yeah. Only because I something funny's going to happen. Maybe Enzo will cost the match by accident and hits the Big Show with a chair or something like that. Or
it's very possible.
Yeah, that definitely.
Because I just don't see what's the purpose of this match. They're trying to really hype up Big Cass to get him up higher in the rankings.
Yeah, true. He's a younger guy for sure.
Yeah. It makes no sense for Big Show to actually get a victory at this point in his career. So, so next up we have Randy Orton versus Rusev, and I basically know nothing about the backstory of this match. So, Eddie, who do you have in Randy Orton versus Rusev?
Randy Orton. Case closed. Randy Orton.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the backstory of this match besides that Randy Orton came out and RKO'd him this week. So I guess I'll go with Randy Orton.
Rusev just lost to John Cena, I think. Not too long ago.
I think he always loses to him. But yeah, I'm going Randy Orton as well. Elias, who you got?
It's probably going to be Randy Orton, but here's the question, right? What have they done with the Rusev character? Wasn't he unstoppable at one point?
That's what I thought.
100%. That's a major problem with booking these days. Is there's no consistency with it, and I think that part of the problem is that they've got Raw, they've got SmackDown, they've got a pay-per-view every single month, and so they've got to put these guys out every week and expose them. And so yeah, they definitely Rusev was this unstoppable monster, and then all of a sudden he's losing all of the time. So yeah, I feel like Rusev should probably win this match, but somehow Randy Orton will probably still win this match. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, and then next up we have the New Day, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, versus the Usos. Eddie, who do you got in this?
Well, I don't know how this all works with the New Day. There's 3 guys there, and they're only going up against 2 guys. So I think I'm gonna take the 3 guys.
Well, I think that they pick and choose who they want to represent them at any point. But...
So it's not 3-on-2?
No, it's 2-on-2.
It's 2-on-2? Oh, yeah. So it's the 2 guys with the belt.
Right, whoever they want to choose.
All right, so well, there's still 3 of them. I'm going New Day.
New Day?
Yeah, I got to go New Day because they'll figure it out. They'll do the babyface cheat.
Man, once again, really tough to guess a match just based on the people, and I don't know the backstory of this. And I don't even know how long the New Day have had the titles for, but I guess I'll go with the New Day. Going New Day.
Yeah. You got one, Mancave, for this one, tag team?
I'll take the Usos of this one because I actually don't even hadn't been paying attention to that one at all.
Usos.
Switching it up.
Yeah.
Usos.
I'm not mad at
Usos.
you. I like it. That's a good pick.
Not a bad call. And then next up we have the SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi, who Eddie knows very well, versus Natty Neidhart Natalia. Eddie, who you got?
I got Naomi. She's a champ, and SummerSlam's a little early for a title change, my opinion. So we'll go with the champ, Naomi.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, Naomi. I don't really see a reason to put the belt on Natalia. Naomi was hurt. She had the belt. She got hurt. She came back. She got the belt. I don't see a reason to take the belt off of her now. So, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Have you noticed a trend with any of my picks yet, Ray?
The champ?
All baby faces.
Oh, it's all baby faces all day long. So, Elias, who you got in Naomi versus Natalia?
I know nothing about them two, so I guess I'll pick Naomi just to do a 3-0 on that one.
Yeah, she's the champ. She'll probably win.
Natalia is Jim the Anvil Neidhart's daughter.
Yeah, that I read.
Yeah. I'm sure you knew that, right?
Yeah. And then next up, we have the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Eddie, who you got in this one?
Well, this is a tricky one here. I'm going title change. I'm going Sasha Banks over Alexa Bliss. Maybe a little controversy, maybe not, but I think Sasha can pull it out here.
Yeah, I could see that, but I'm gonna stick with Alexa. I'm gonna go with Alexa. I think they've really been putting a lot of investment in her, and they switched this belt a lot of times, and they need to stop switching these belts over and over because it's devaluing them.
Hasn't Alexa Bliss been champ since WrestleMania or before WrestleMania? I
don't think it was from before WrestleMania, but she's had the belt for a while, I think.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's not a bad pick.
So I pick. I'm sticking with Alexa to keep the belt. Elias, who you got?
I'll pick Alexa only because she's hot.
She is. Because she's hot.
She is pretty hot. I'm gonna agree with that.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at that either.
I'm not mad at that either. That's how I made my WrestleMania pick. The hottest one will win, guaranteed.
There you go. And then the next match that we have, this was actually just made on Monday.
Oh, look at this.
We have Cesaro and Sheamus defending their tag team titles against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, the semi-reunited Shield. This match was just made on Monday. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins kind of have a little bit of animosity between them. So, Eddie, who you have in this one?
This is tough. This is a tough one for me. I'm going title change again. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Taking the gold, or not the gold. Is that gold? Is that white gold? They're taking the white gold home.
I think that, I don't know. I think they're copper now.
I don't know. They look like silvery.
They look like pennies.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, they're silver.
And, and it's white gold. So
yeah, white gold. Sorry. They're taking the white gold. So yeah, I will agree with you. I think, how do you have two of your main event guys?
Come on.
How do you have two of your main event guys job out to Cesaro and Sheamus? So
yeah.
They got to win the tag titles. This is kind of like the Kane and Undertaker winning the tag titles, or Kane and Mankind.
The Rock and Sock.
It's kind of that kind of thing where I think that they definitely have to be winning this match. So yeah, I'm going with Ambrose and Rollins for the victory. Elias,
you have to go with Ambrose and Rollins. They all this hype and they put them together, on Monday night. I don't see them losing,
For sure.
Doesn't make any sense, for sure. And then next match, which I'm actually very much looking forward to. Oh, no. I don't know if you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at, but
AJ and Kevin?
Oh, yeah.
This is the sound guy match.
For the United States Championship, we have AJ Styles facing off against Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as the guest referee. And I believe...
let me give you a little backstory here. Kevin Owens super kicked Shane McMahon on SmackDown. So
yeah. And I think that the rules of this match are, if either one of them touch Shane McMahon, they automatically lose the match. So
really,
yeah, and I would assume that somehow connected in that is that AJ loses the belt too if he gets disqualified.
No way!
I'm
taking AJ. He's my pick.
I don't know that for sure. I may possibly be making that up.
Nah, either way, AJ Styles, easy.
Yeah,
didn't he just win this fucking thing?
No, he. I think he beat Kevin Owens on like a house show actually.
Yeah, like recently though.
But yeah, he's only had it for a couple of months.
Yeah, it's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early for AJ.
I agree. I think that it certainly makes the most sense for AJ Styles to win this match here. So I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna go with AJ Styles. Elias.
Mr. Elias, are you still with us?
Oh yeah. So here's my story on this one. I think this match might be the best match of the night.
No doubt. No doubt.
AJ Styles will probably win, but it's like, how can you hate Kevin Owens too? You know, it's like,
Oh yeah.
for a big guy like that, he can wrestle.
No doubt, man.
I remember him as the Ring of Honor champion. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to see these guys up on WWE now and in a major angle. That's one thing that I kind of like where they're going with SummerSlam. It's one of the big events, and normally they rely on older guys, and they're really kind of relying on the newer guys now. So I'm very much looking forward to this match. So yeah, but I'm going with AJ. And then next up we have Mr. John Cena.
Oh yeah.
Hustle, loyalty, respect versus Baron Corbin. And this has got an interesting kind of backstory where Baron Corbin had the Money in the Bank and he tried to cash it in this week on Jinder Mahal. And I think this might be the first time this has ever happened. He tried to cash it in and he lost. He lost almost immediately. So he lost his Money in the Bank, courtesy of John Cena, sort of. So John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Eddie, who do you have in
You
this?
gotta ask me this one. John Cena.
Sorry.
Do. All day.
Yeah,
John Cena.
John Cena.
Easy.
John Cena for the win. Even though he probably shouldn't win this match, John Cena.
Why not? He's John Cena.
He has John Cena. So, all right.
Mr. Elias.
You got to go with John Cena.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, it's like how much longer is he going to wrestle for? Another year, maybe?
Yeah.
You know, there's rumors going around he's going to retire early.
No, not John Cena. He'll be around another 3 years, easy.
He might, but not
If he
full
can't,
time.
if they let him.
He won't be full time, yeah.
Yeah, maybe WrestleMania or
I
whatever.
think they're trying to push him out, but he's sticking around.
Yeah. I think he's going to get one of those Jericho contracts, come and go.
Yeah, I think that would be good for him.
It was very strange to see Mr. Corbin lose the Money in the Bank that way. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen that happen before. I'm sure that that's
yeah.
actually happened, but I don't remember it happening. So that was pretty interesting.
For him to carry that thing around forever.
Yeah,
and to lose it like that.
For sure.
Why did they even give him that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess to build.
Because I don't think he's that great either.
Oh, it's probably because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the young guys going.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to pump up the younger dudes. So, and then next up, we have one of the two title matches. We have Jinder Mahal, who somehow has a WWE Championship in one of the most bizarre pushes I've ever seen. Didn't even see, just heard about. Facing off against Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. Eddie, what do you have in this?
These are two guys that I'm not real too familiar with. But if I have to pick it, I'm going Mr. Shinsuke Nakamura for the title change over Mr. Jinder Mahal. I just think he's a better wrestler, better fit for the title. And, I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass right now.
Yeah. I think that I'm going to completely agree with you. I hate that we're agreeing on so much stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's no way that Jinder Mahal is somehow going to beat Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, Shinsuke Nakamura is going to destroy
It seems
Jinder
like
Mahal.
he's the future of SmackDown right now. Like,
For sure.
They've really invested in Nakamura.
Yeah,
quite
I
a
think
bit.
Nakamura all day long. They put a lot of money into bringing him in, creating the character, all that jazz. So yeah, he's gonna win for sure. So, Elias, who do you have in this match?
See, this would be the match where I probably would just get up and go to the bathroom.
Oh no! How
Ooh.
dare you, Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yeah.
Nakamura,
Not a big fan.
Nakamura is pretty.
I haven't
badass.
really seen a lot of his matches, so I
Oh,
can't
man.
really say anything. I
He's
mean, I've seen his
Japanese.
entrance. Everybody made a big thing about his entrance.
He's Japanese. He's
Yeah.
sick. He's got a lot of like submissions and really tough style wrestling.
We were watching some New Japan stuff. We saw him versus AJ Styles. That was really, really good. So, yeah,
Yeah.
he's
I'm a big fan of Japanese wrestlers.
yeah, for sure. And then we have the main event.
Wait. We didn't get his pick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go with the same pick as you guys
Nakamura.
because I don't really care for Jinder Mahal either.
See, Jinder Mahal's a sleeper pick because I think they're trying to establish newer guys, and I think this is like one of their proven things. It's like, it seems like a WWE thing to do to like, even though I don't know what the situation is, but I'm assuming Jinder Mahal's not really getting too over right now. And just to like with the whole Daniel Bryan thing, like the reverse psychology of you want this guy to be champion, but we're not going to give it to you. It's like nobody cares about Jinder Mahal, so we're going to keep him as the champion anyways.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I mean, they're playing the whole like racism angle with it, so that's kind of sort of working. But yeah, I think Nakamura. So.
Yeah, he's got the momentum right now.
And then we have main event of the evening. We have the Universal Champion, Mr. Brock Lesnar, versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman in a fatal 4-way match for the Universal title. Eddie, who do you have in this one? Oh man, I hope not. The fans will be pretty pissed if that happens.
Roman Reigns, take it home for you, boy. Eddie the Jerk.
Yeah,
I'm going undefeated this match this card.
This is a tough one.
It's gonna be the icing on the cake.
I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. I'm going with Joe. Joe for the win.
Steal my inside pick.
That's my pick.
I agree with you. Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. I really hope so.
I'm outnumbered here.
He's
interesting.
They definitely need to push him into the main event real quick and put the title on him. And I think he's a good filler champion for a while.
I think you guys are sleeping on Roman Reigns right now.
I don't want to be sleeping on Roman Reigns.
I don't really think Roman Reigns deserves it anymore.
No chance.
It's hard to say.
I think they hyped him up and then it just died and it
has not worked at all.
He's not a main event guy.
According to what I've heard, Roman Reigns should be able to beat all three of these guys in a handicap match. Right?
There you go. Yeah.
That's a WWE style booking for you. Roman Reigns versus everybody.
Hulk Hogan was the strongest man alive back in the 80s. So
John
Cena. And I think everybody knows that, Brock's gonna lose it because he's gonna go fight in UFC.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They teased that for sure. So
yeah, we'll hit that after the break. We wanna wrap up SummerSlam, take a quick break.
Yeah.
And then get a word in from the Mancave Chronicles podcast.
Absolutely.
And from the JOAT podcast, and we'll be back with some UFC talk.
All right.
If you like stand-up comedy, sports, entertainment, interviews with guests, things you talk about with your boys in the Man Cave, then tune into the Mancave Chronicles podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, and Pocket Cast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ray the Jerk from the Jerk of All Trades podcast, and I want to tell you about a special offer just for you, the listener of the Jerk of All Trades podcast. Audible is offering a free audiobook download, and you get a free 30-day trial. It's going to give you a chance to check out their awesome service. I have a personal recommendation for you once you get your free audiobook, and it is The Psychedelic Experience, a manual based on the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's by Mr. Timothy Leary, and let me tell you what, it is definitely going to change your life for the better. So to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/JOAT podcast. Again, that's audibletrial.com/JOAT podcast. Get your free audiobook, get your free 30 days, courtesy of the Jerks.
All right, guys, we are back here at the Jerk of All Trades podcast with our special guest, Elias from the Mancave Chronicles. And we were just talking about some WWE and SummerSlam, where we talked about Brock Lesnar in the main event there. There's also been a lot of talk about Brock Lesnar coming back to the UFC.
Absolutely.
Facing off against pound for pound, one of the best fighters of all times, John Bones Jones, who won his last fight in UFC 214. A little quick UFC 214 recap for you.
Quick question for you, Eddie.
What's up?
So Brock Lesnar obviously was popped for some sort of not steroid. I'm doing the air quotes here.
Okay.
But he got popped for, some sort of drug, and he was banned from UFC for a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, USADA. He got popped by USADA.
So has that elapsed yet, or no?
Some of it has elapsed, but not all of it. He retired like partway into it. I think like 3 months into it.
So and by the time
he has to reapply with USADA for the clock to start back up.
By the time that happened, he would be able to compete again. So. All right, that's
I hope so. I'm looking forward to that shit.
yeah. I was just
John
wondering.
Jones, Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be off the map, crazy. So yeah, let's just talk about Johnny Bones Jones real quick. Third round knockout, Daniel Cormier, probably the second best fighter in the world, second or third best fighter. Made it look pretty easy. Got to be honest. I hate to say it because Daniel Cormier is such a good fighter, but there was some moments where Cormier got his punches in there, but for the most part, it was John Jones looking refreshed, revitalized, and looking to kick some ass, really. And like I said, John Jones in the blue corner is a nightmare for anybody. You do not want John Jones wearing blue tape on his wrists for his gloves because he's coming after you and he's trying to beat the crap out of you. So good fight there. John Jones still undefeated in the UFC for the most part, with a knockout over Daniel Cormier and new light heavyweight champion. In the co-main event, Tyron Woodley defeated Damian Maia via unanimous decision. Not the greatest fight in the world, but tactically pretty decent. But the crowd was definitely not loving this one, Ray. They were booing. They all actually the crowds pulled out their phones and started doing the Bray Wyatt.
Really?
They were waving their phones from side to side, like during the fight.
Like they didn't care?
But yes, exactly, 100%. 100%.
Back in my day, we had lighters.
Joe Rogan was getting freaked out. He's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? I've never seen this before.
Oh, man.
That's how bad that fight was. So, and then in the featherweight title match, Chris Cyborg defeated Tanya Evinger via third round technical knockout. Probably the best fight of the night, Robbie Lawler defeating Donald Cerrone via unanimous decision. I kind of have a beef with that. The fight was closer than unanimous, in my opinion, and I actually thought Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone, won that fight. But I'm not a judge, and I can't get my money back, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then
did you pay for that or no?
Pay for
the pay-per-view?
Oh, of course I did. Wink.
Yeah, I roll at that. You thieving bastard.
I can't remember actually. UFC 214. Anyways, if I did, I paid for it in beer. So,
all right. I'll take it.
In light heavyweight, rounding out the main card, light heavyweight division, Volkan Ozdemir defeated Jimmy Manuwa with a knockout within like the first 42 seconds of the fight. Nice little light heavyweight action there. Volkan Ozdemir throwing hands and not even thinking twice about it. He's on the rise, and we're looking forward to it. So, but the main thing out of this, John Jones defeating Daniel Cormier after his post-fight interview, gets on the mic and says, "Hey, Brock Lesnar, I'm like 40 pounds lighter than you. Let's fight." And so in the fight world, for Brock Lesnar to turn that down would be just an atrocity because whenever a smaller guy calls out a bigger guy, usually the bigger guy has to step the fuck up. So I know I talked to my boy Mancave on Instagram about this a little bit. You kind of like Brock in this, huh?
How can you not?
I mean,
how can you not?
I love me some Brock Lesnar. Usually everybody hates Brock Lesnar, so I'm actually surprised to hear you say that you like him.
Brock Lesnar at one point had UFC on top of his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like for me, it's like, you know, yeah, I would like for him to go in there and just destroy him.
You're not a big John Jones guy, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I ever was.
He gets in trouble a lot.
I think that might be a big thing too.
Yeah, his integrity is questionable in some circles. I just want to see a good fight. I think personally, Brock can take him down. I think Brock will probably get him down at least one time. He will get him down, but can he hold him down? That's going to be the question because John Jones is great at Greco-Roman wrestling. He's great.
What's the age difference?
Oh, that's a great question. I think John Jones just turned 30. And I think, how old is Brock, Ray?
He's got to be closing in on 40.
40, probably?
He's got to be close to 40.
Yeah, there's probably close to a 10-year gap in age difference, I would say. Yeah. But Brock can't be that old because we've been watching him forever.
Brock Lesnar is exactly 40 years old.
Oh, he's 40? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been watching him forever, so he might seem older than he actually is.
Hey, Dan Severn fought in the UFC, and he was like 44, 45. Remember that?
Yeah. Old school.
Yep.
Yeah, he got beat by Royce Gracie, actually. That's one of my favorite fights, UFC 4.
Royce Gracie.
Royce Gracie.
He's a badass for sure.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. You know what Royce Gracie's plan was every time he fought in the UFC?
Choke someone out, probably.
Don't let the guy hit me.
Maybe.
Which is like the greatest plan of all time,
That's a good
right?
plan for sure.
Let me just walk up in here and not get hit and take all the money. So,
Yeah.
for sure. Big Hoist Gracie fan. But, yeah, I think John Jones, he'll probably get taken down. He's got to make it out of that first round. But after that, the kicks, the punches, the elbows, it's just John Jones so well-rounded.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big money fight. I know I'm tuning into this thing for sure, man. I will not miss because Brock Lesnar in the UFC, you touched on this, Mancave, a little bit. There's a fever pitch to it. There's something different about Brock Lesnar in the UFC. It just makes it special.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, how many fights did he fight in the UFC? 4 or 5, right?
4 or 5, and they all did.
And he lost 2 of them.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He still holds the record. He's tied for the most UFC title defenses for a heavyweight in the history still. Stipe Miocic can eclipse him now with his next title defense coming up here against Cain Velasquez. But Brock has he's up there, man. He's up there with the top heavyweights. As limited as he was, he still came through. Like, there were so many times where he was an even bet in Vegas, and I was just like, there's no way Brock Lesnar's going to lose here. Yeah. So, and it was just like so easy. But
well, even the fight that he lost the title, when he retired the first time when he was sick, nobody knew he was sick.
Yeah, it's so strange.
And then that fight was a shock to everybody that he lost that fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, what was his deal? He had some sort of like stomach thing where he had to have like part of his intestines taken out, right?
Diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis, yeah.
No joke. My mechanic actually in Florida had diverticulitis, and he had a scar going from his belly button all the way down to beyond his underwear. So I've never seen Brock Lesnar scar for diverticulitis, but if it's anything like my mechanics, man, that shit ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Now imagine if he didn't have that, and he won that fight. How much longer he could have went?
Wow. It's hard to say because once you got Brock Lesnar's kind of money, you don't have to fight anymore. You can just go to WWE or I don't know, like.
I mean, I'm sure he's making a lot of money there and not doing a whole hell of a lot. So
Brock Lesnar got it made right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically just doing this because he likes doing it, So something for him to do.
Yeah, but he's going to cash from the UFC too.
Oh, he'll probably get about $5 million for this after all the pay-per-views and stuff. Brock Lesnar had the record for like. Outside of Mayweather, Brock Lesnar's the number 1 pay-per-view draw on pay-per-view. Like Mayweather's number 1, Brock Lesnar's number 2.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. Like he holds like the top 4 all-time pay-per-view records for the UFC. Like his pay-per-views for UFC are the top 4 of all time, I think. I might be wrong on that, but I know he's got like 4 of them over $1 million. There's Chuck and Tito, I think, had $1 million plus, and GSP might have had like $1 million on one of his, but Brock Lesnar, man. Brock Lesnar in the UFC, the world is watching. The world is watching, man.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Absolutely. No doubt.
So you got to watch that Mayweather fight, Mancave?
Yeah, I'm going to donate $100 to watch Mayweather hug him all night.
You should talk to Eddie the Jerk, who will maybe wink, pay for the fight.
Come on up and hang out with us. We'll find a way.
Yeah, I think weren't we talking about going to On the Border, which is a gentleman's club,
a gentleman's establishment. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pay $100, why not just pay $30 or $20?
Right, and you have $70 to make.
And I can
make
watch
rain.
I can watch it on a better screen and get a dance afterwards.
I'm currently making
imaginary
money rain onto my computer screen right now.
Ray's making it rain.
I'm making it rain.
I'm picking up all those dollars.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna find a way to watch it. But who you got in that, man? You think Floyd's gonna dap him up, or you think Connor's gonna knock him out?
I was never a Mayweather fan.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna root for Connor, of course, but I don't know. It's gonna be
like if you had to lay your money down, which side are you going on?
I would chance it. I would take Mayweather. I mean,
McGregor for a bet.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I would chance it because he really wants it.
He's training like a son of a gun. We follow him on Instagram. He's taking this shit so serious. Yeah. And they just got cleared for 8-ounce gloves. They got the smaller gloves.
Yeah.
So that means somebody's probably getting knocked out now.
Yeah.
I think if McGregor wins this fight, we know that boxing is still fixed. That's my thought process on this. I don't care how hard McGregor is.
What if he like breaks his face or something?
Well, I mean, that would be a different story, but yeah, I don't know. Boxing has had a lot of questionable things like that. So I don't know. I feel like a guy who's had no professional boxing matches ever versus, one of the greatest boxers of all time in a boxing match. Come on. I mean,
in pro wrestling, we were just talking about SummerSlam and pro wrestling earlier. In pro wrestling, Mayweather would do the job here.
Right.
He would, pass the torch to the new guy.
But here, I mean, this is boxing. This should be on the up and up, and it should be legit. And in that scenario, I mean, sadly, Mayweather is going to dominate this. I think we talked about as we were watching the all the press conferences and everything. Is this actual boxing match could never live up to the hype that those press conferences made it seem that it could be. And
Correct.
maybe it will. Maybe it'll be the best boxing match of all time, but I have my doubts.
I just, I'm not trying to take anything away from Mayweather, but like, was he 40 and 0? Is that what he is?
I think
49 and 0.
Yeah, he's old.
49 and 0. But how many knockouts does he have in 49 and 0?
It's been a while. In his last 10, I think he has like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
How old is Mayweather?
Like the last few fights that I've seen him fight, it just felt like he just sat there and he hugged people.
He's dancing
around. Yeah, he's dancing around and hugging, throwing a punch, hugging, and it's like boring.
Yeah.
Well, when you think boxing, because obviously you're a little bit older than I am, you remember Mike Tyson, right?
Yeah.
So when people pay $100, $50, whatever it is, you're looking for the knockout. You're looking for somebody to get Mike Tyson and walking away with that feeling of like, yes, I witnessed something like an event. Yeah. But when Mayweather
someone getting their ear bitten off, maybe.
Yeah, see,
maybe not so much that.
I'm not a big
kind of
fan.
an event.
Yeah, I'm not that big.
not Walking Dead event.
That second era of Tyson was just.
Yeah.
But
like I'm not a huge boxing fan, but do you remember War versus Gotti?
Oh, geez, yes.
Those were good boxing.
Wasn't
fights.
that on HBO? I think those were on HBO.
I think they were.
Yeah. Oh,
They fought 3 times, I think, and all 3 of those fights were amazing.
Yeah, I remember the first one. The first one was fucking crazy. The second one, I believe I watched live, but I can't. I get them all mixed up because they were all just so wild and crazy. But the Ward and Gotti fights were tremendous. Tremendous. I should actually have Ray watch those someday, and we can talk about them on the podcast.
You'll like them.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. With the reason why I always gravitated towards professional wrestling, and I mean now it sucks, but back in the days that it was fixed, and so they could basically like build a story and build to the crescendo, and then give you the payoff. And with, legitimate, sporting things like boxing or UFC, it's like you build towards this crescendo, you create these characters, you build up to the crescendo, and then it might not give you the payoff that you want. Like you might just get a really, really boring matchup. And sometimes you get an amazing matchup. You get a great boxing match, a great UFC fight, but a lot of times you just get, something that doesn't live up to the hype of that. And almost the buildup is better than, where you get to. So hopefully this is not that. I hope this is the best boxing match of all times because, I mean, man.
Because it's the only boxing match you'll ever watch.
Right. I mean, that's not true. I mean, back in the day, I grew up on, on Tyson and stuff. So, I mean, I've seen my fair share of boxing matches. But
Triple G and Canelo's coming up September. Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. Those are the 2 biggest boxers outside of Floyd Mayweather. It should be a much better fight, too. Like, when you're talking best fight of all time, that fight, Triple G and Canelo, has the potential to be the best fight of, like, a long time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think Golovkin's got him. I think Canelo's good, but Triple G is just on another level. So, you're a big fan of Triple G, Mancave?
I don't really follow boxing anymore.
Oh, okay. Triple G.
So
you just watch his highlights on like
all right.
YouTube. Like you got 5 minutes to kill. He's murdering people left and right. So it's pretty good stuff.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think we have covered what we need to cover on this episode of the JOAT podcast. We really want to thank Elias for hanging out with us and talking old school wrestling, talking SummerSlam, talking UFC. John Jones, Lesnar, Mayweather, McGregor.
Yeah,
and
thanks for
everything
hanging
else.
out with us,
Yes,
man.
absolutely.
No problem.
Man.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we definitely enjoyed it.
You want to plug your podcast real quick?
Plug anything you need, man.
Sure. You can find me on almost any platform to listen to it. It's called the Mancave Chronicles. I'm on Twitter at the MCC Podcast. You can email me at the MCC Podcast at gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram. That's how we connected. I always forget what my Instagram handle is because it's a little bit different than everybody else's. So my Instagram is _Mancave_Chronicles_podcast. And pretty much it. I mean, it was a blast being on here. Check out my podcast. How's this? Whoever listens to this podcast, first 5 people that email me, I'll enter them into a drawing and they can win a Man Caves t-shirt.
There you go,
Wow.
man. You cannot beat that.
Can
Free
I enter
t-shirts.
the contest?
Sure.
I'm in.
There you go. And the rules of that are that you have to get a t-shirt cannon, and whoever wins actually has to get shot with the t-shirt cannon with the Mancave Chronicles t-shirt in it. So I'm adding that to the rules and
The
regulations.
Mancave Chronicles. I love it,
All right.
man.
Giving you
And
free
you
stuff.
got a fantasy football guy coming in next week, right?
I'll be talking to a fantasy football guy Friday night, and I'll probably release that right away, like as a bonus episode.
Okay. So we'll look
But,
forward to that coming out next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it should
man.
be a blast. So here's the rule for the drawing. What we'll do is we'll first 5 people that email me, I'll draw a winner. We'll send them the shirt, and they have to post it on Twitter and Instagram, and they have to tag your podcast and my podcast on it.
Love it.
There you go, man. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the JOAT podcast. We really appreciated having you. And
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We loved it. And with that being said, JOAT, as always, we love all you guys. Thank everyone for all of your support.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for reviewing, rating, and all of your support. We love you guys. And JOAT is out.